I think most people are aware that for the last 40 years, the middle class of our country has been in decline. That in Vermont and all over this country, we have people working 2 or 3 jobs. We have people working 50, 60, 70 hours a week just to put food on the table, just to make sure that their families can live with a modicum of dignity. And the reason for all of that is that wages in the United States of America are just too low. And the time is long overdue for us to raise the minimum wage, which is now at the federal level $7.25 an hour, which I think under any definition is a starvation wage. We have got to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, and what we are here today to say is that living wage is $15 an hour. Now, I know it is a radical concept for our Republican friends, but we believe that in the United States of America, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, that if you work 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty. It must be a wage that people can live in dignity with. It has been 10 years since Congress passed legislation to raise the minimum wage. Since 1968, the minimum wage has lost more than 25% of its purchasing power as millions of Americans work longer hours for lower wages. Their wages are not keeping up with inflation. After adjusting for inflation, the minimum wage today is worth less than it was 50 years ago. So if you want to know why people all over this country are angry, why they're bitter, why they are disenchanted with the government, the truth is they are asking why it is the people on top are doing fantastically well, and yet their standard of living is going down. The erosion of the federal minimum wage is a major reason why more than 43 million Americans are living in poverty. Health care costs are going up, child care costs are going up, college costs are going up, housing costs are going up, but wages for millions of workers are not going up. So here we are today to say to the working people of this country, we know you can't make it on $8 an hour, $10 an hour. We say to the single mothers all over this country who are working desperately to protect their kids, we know you're not making it on $12 an hour. Our job in the wealthiest country in the history of the world is to make sure that every worker at least has a modest and decent standard of living. So today we're here to say, let's raise this minimum wage to $15 an hour. And now I should also tell you that right here in the Senate, we now have 31 sponsors in the House under the leadership of Bobby Scott and Keith Ellison. They have, and Nancy Pelosi, of course, we have 150, I think, co-sponsors. That's fantastic.